Today, we're joined by Jonathan Hutton, a top-performing realtor at the Cody Cooper team at RE/MAX in Kitchener-Waterloo. In this episode, John dives into the current market dynamics for home buyers and sellers in the Kitchener-Waterloo and Cambridge area. From navigating affordability challenges to crafting winning marketing strategies, John shares his expertise on how to seize opportunities in today's market. Whether you're buying or selling or just curious about the KWC market, this episode is packed with actionable insights. Welcome to the Golden Horseshoe Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Koukun Unosawa, mortgage broker with Synergy Mortgage Group. In this podcast, we chat with real estate professionals who share their local market insights, future outlooks, proven strategies, and practical tips, all right here in Ontario's Golden Horseshoe. All right, so we have Jonathan Hutton here. John, for those who maybe don't know you, can you give them a quick intro about yourself and sort of your business?
Yeah, so I'm a real estate agent with RE/MAX. I'm on a high performance team here with the Cindy Cody. It's now called the Cody Cooper team here in Kitchener-Waterloo. I've been in business this is my fourth year. And over these 4 years, it's been quite a journey. So prior to that, I've been in high performance sales for over 25 years, different companies, working with business to business and business to consumers. And, real estate, although it wasn't my choice off the beginning, actually turned out to be an amazing journey for me.
Awesome. So John, specifically in terms of the area you focus on, you're primarily in the Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge sort of area, right? KWC, a little bit of Guelph, I guess, or kind of
I do a little bit of Guelph, some of the surrounding smaller towns around Waterloo region, but generally the main focus is in the Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge area.
Awesome. So and maybe let's start with the perspective of, say, a first-time home buyer. What is the market like right now for a first-time home buyer? What are the opportunities you're seeing, the challenges you're seeing for someone in that position right now?
Yeah, it's first-time home buyers is definitely a challenge. Affordability is one really big thing for them. There is a lot more inventory, which is really nice. And I keep telling, especially my first-time home buyers, jump on the wagon now. As things pick up over, the next couple of years, you're going to notice that, honestly, with the inventory challenges that we have, the demand's going to drive it, and you're going to see prices recover. So take the opportunity. Interest rates, even if they're higher, they only last 3 to 5 years, and you get to reset them. So take advantage of that opportunity and get into the market.
Okay. So you're saying even though there's a lot of listings and potentially the market's a bit slower now than before, the affordability side of the equation, is it that they're simply not able to qualify up to sort of the amount you're seeing that even as starter homes going for? Is that kind of the challenge?
The challenge is definitely what we're looking at. It's, the homes that people have the opportunity to purchase, once again, they're fighting over these homes still. So I literally just sold the home in multiple offers, 10 offers in. I had 47 showings.
Wow.
It's part of the marketing strategy we use too.
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm on the listing side, so of course I want to take advantage of that. But it's the demand is out there. It's just being able to tap into it and show off the home, make it stand out from the inventory that's there.
What kind of price point was that home in?
That home, it sold for $590.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you say that that's kind of the sweet spot? If a home's in that 500, 600 range, that's where all the buyers are. And even though the market's slower, that price point, would you say it moves still fairly quickly?
Oh, yeah. It definitely moves quickly. If it's priced properly and marketed well, that price point moves fast. The thing we look at is like those are single detached homes. You get into some of the row houses and into semi-detached. And I'm like, that's where the bigger opportunity is because, gold standard is detached homes. People want the detached home. And it's like, I get it. But if you really want to get into the market and take advantage of the market now and save some money, take a look at the row houses and the semi-detached because the affordability and the competition for those is less generally.
Well, that perspective is interesting, right? Because in Toronto, a detached home is where you end up. You got to
Yeah.
start with a condo. If you're lucky, you move to a townhouse and to a semi, and eventually you get to
Yeah.
like a detached house. But in what I find it is interesting in the sort of secondary markets like KWC, even Niagara, where I'm in, the expectation hasn't quite adjusted yet to sort of the reality, right? Prices moved up a lot, but people are still expecting their first home to be beautiful detached home in a great neighborhood, lots of land, all of that. But you kind of have to temper your expectations based on what you can afford, right?
Oh, 100%. And we're seeing a lot of people that where they can't do that in the GTA area. We are commutable, so we see a
Mm,
lot of those people come here. I advertise out really to out of town buyers because at the end of
mm.
the day, you know, on average, 60 to 70% of our showings come from out of town.
Oh, wow.
All right. It's a huge market that's that way. So we advertise to fit that. And then, people that are here, they're radiating out as well. And so now they're
Interesting.
looking for detached homes, but they're looking out, 30, 40 minutes away, hour away even. Why? Because they still can commute into Kitchener-Waterloo,
Oh, wow.
but much better bang for their buck.
That is interesting. That is interesting to hear. Yeah, because it seems that the only company that benefits from all of this is the oil companies because everyone's commuting. So the people from are commuting there and people
Them or Elon Musk, if it gets to the point of we're all batteries, right? With electric EV cars.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, that is very interesting. So you mentioned that you helped this client recently sell the property, get 10 multiple offers. When it comes to the selling side of things, if someone's looking to sell a property in Kitchener-Waterloo right now, what are some of the common, I guess, maybe strategies you're employing, or what's the conversation like usually in terms of um, helping them navigate the market?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to what's their journey at the end of the day. It's so important. Timing is really important, but when we take a look at what people look at overall, what's your journey? Because, you can sell and buy if that's your journey in any market. Really, then it's more about what can we do to get you where you need to go. Because you could sell at the top of COVID, you could make tons of money on the property that you sell. You could sell in 30 offers, great, but now you got to compete on the other side.
Mm,
So when we take a look at that, then it's like, okay, now it's a much better transitional market. You can sell, you can be comfortable, and then you can buy on the other side and be comfortable. You can have like inspections and conditions on financing and the competition that way. It works out to be a little bit better for people. So it's to me, it's about the journey.
mm,
The second really big thing is, it's not, you can't just post a listing now and
mm,
just, oh, we're done in 3 days. Yay. Right. It's not how it works. So we really have to focus on marketing the property. And I think that it's really important for us to, we walk through, we think doing things like, I call it soft staging because we're not emptying your house and we're not trying to make things uncomfortable for you. We're trying to make it as comfortable as possible, but we want to make it so it's like Instagram HDD ready, like ready so that people can just like, it pops, it shows off really well. We want to have really good photos, and it's the little details that help bring people to that property. Making sure that we're priced properly is
mm,
huge too, because when you're an overpriced property or you're not standing out, then guess what? You just blend in with the rest of the inventory. Why are people looking at your property? So it's making sure that, we use those tools to make your property stand out. We want that attention. And then we also want to make sure at the end of the day, that we're doing actively marketing that property, actively going out there to hunt down those buyers. You know, I say all the time, I have a list already for your house.
mm,
People that I've, sold to, okay, other agents that I know that try to buy the properties that I've listed. We have a huge network of people through the team, and we make sure we market to those people and that we're actively phone calling them to let them know we have this property available, the benefits of this property, and to see if they have any buyers that are available. So, it's about being really active in this marketplace and working for your client.
mm,
If you're just going to post the property up, sure, you did a nice little video and you posted it on the MLS and stuff. Okay, great. Now you're just sitting back and waiting for the buyers to come to you, and you can't do that in this market.
mm. No, that's a great point. Yeah, one of the other guests on this podcast mentioned something similar. This is the type of market where you get to shine as a realtor if you are actually doing your job well, right?
Yeah.
You get to showcase all the things you can do to help move the property versus in a market like COVID, it- there was a lot more bad behavior going around. You could skip
Mm,
many of the steps just because everything was going to sell in 10 offers anyways. So you could always you could almost skip steps. And now those agents are really starting to suffer if they just kept those habits because the market's different. It takes more work now to
yeah.
actually move a property, right?
And you had a lot of agents that came in during that time, and so they don't know how to do that work.
Hmm.
Right. And so I think that, for people, they're kind of at a disadvantage that way because they've never had to work through a challenging market.
Hmm.
And for me, and as we discussed, my wife, we work together, and this is our best year yet.
Wow.
So, it's when you're taking a look at the market that's going down, you know that you're doing the right things for your clients if you're doing really well in a market that's a lot more challenging.
Awesome. Awesome. Let me ask you. So you mentioned this is your best year yet, which is very impressive considering that like the last couple of years, from an overall market standpoint, I'm not sure about KWC, but when you look at general stats, prices have come down a little bit year over year, right? Even after the
Yeah.
initial drop, sales activity has kind of slumped in many markets. So the fact you guys are able to grow your business, um, what would you say are one or two things that you guys do differently, whether it's when you're working with buyers, sellers, or like, is there something you can point to as that's probably one of the reasons why things have been going the way that they have?
I think there's several things that we do. We're really focused on our client experience, which is one, and being very diligent about our marketing and our follow up. Like,
Hmm.
actually understanding what marketing is, like a bus ad or putting your picture out there is great, for visibility and people learning your brand. But bringing a lot of listings in or a lot of clients is not really what it's about. It's about the guerrilla marketing that you're doing. We sell a house, we put out a just sold letter to the
Hmm.
entire neighborhood. It's something that we're doing like literally the week after it's been sold because there often is other people who are thinking about it and having those conversations. And, you know, once we get those people in the door, they start realizing, oh, yeah, okay, we have the marketing to do it. We have a great client experience and they have really good reference,
Hmm.
right? Just the house we just sold there. Sometimes we even have their number. They're okay to, hey, if someone else is interested, can we use you as a referral? Can they give you
Hmm.
a call? What's better way? You have a raving fan that just had a great and awesome experience. And that part sort of goes into the second part is that we try to treat all of our clients like family. We really want to make sure that they have a great client experience, and we go the extra mile to do things. Things like I'm going later today, to take some pictures of a property that I'm not even signed with them yet. But I put my foot out there and I'm just like, okay, well, they're thinking about doing it in the spring. Well, we want to make sure we market your property really well. So guess what? We're doing pictures now while the outside of your property looks really good, right?
Hmm.
We'll hold on to those. And, if you decide to move forward in the spring, then we'll have those available to us, and it's just doing those specific steps, the little things, right?
Hmm.
You come into a property, it's an elderly couple, they have problems taking care of the outside of their home. Like curb appeal matters. Hey, guess what? You know what? We're going to bring in a lawn care company. We're going to have your lawn mowed. We're going to have it edged. We're going to have the gardens done for you. Done. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of that. Why? Because now it looks great for the pitchers. They have a much better experience. And at the end of the day, for, the cost of doing it, you have raving fans. It's always those little extra things that,
Hmm.
you know, sometimes people just don't think about. They're just like, oh, it's not my responsibility to do that. I'm like, you don't have to, but I'll take them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things you had mentioned is you've done a lot of marketing to out of town buyers, specifically, I guess, buyers from the GTA who are moving into the KWC area, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that come with working with an out of town buyer, or maybe things that you've had to sort of coach them through as they're thinking about moving into sort of the
Yeah.
KWC area?
So it depends on which side of the deal I'm on.
Okay.
So with listing side of the deal, I understand that when we focus on out of town buyers, they come here. They often don't know the area. They
Mm,
might sometimes have family around. So I don't leave it to their agent to tell them what they need to do. So I'm
mm,
often when I list a house, I'm putting up call outs throughout the house about different aspects of the home that, are important for them to understand and know about. Because sometimes when they're looking through a lot of homes, guess what kitchen renovated in 2023? I don't remember reading that, but now I see it's right there in front of me with this call out. They walk in the front door and like, oh, look, here's a list of, amenities that are close by, schools, shopping. Oh, highway access is only 7 minutes away. And again, it's a call out that's right there. Oh, we can take a picture of that to
mm,
remember. Like it's doing these things. And then the follow up, because we call the agents that have shown the property. And so, because I sit here, I talk to them, I make sure I point out those specific things that are really important. And if their buyer does like the property and is interested, so that I give them the tools to help sell it.
mm,
And so that they understand why this property is better than maybe something else that they're looking at. On the buying side, give them a tour, right? Show, oh yeah, I recently had someone that they were in Florida and they were coming up. Um, that's where they are Canadian citizens, but they're uh, their child was going to go to university. So, they're not familiar as much with the area. And so it was, yeah, let's drive around. Let's go grab lunch here. Let's go take a look at where the universities are. Let's take a walk here. Here are some ways that we can. So it's like getting them comfortable and helping them, discover the area as well too. Uh, just so that they can make the right choices that are going to fit what their needs are.
mm.
Because sometimes it's like, they're not quite sure because they don't know the area. So we have to feel it. We have to, take that time to make them comfortable with what their choice is going to be. So
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, especially when someone isn't familiar with an area, to have someone local who can really show them the ropes, show them sort of
yeah,
even just to get a sense of, okay, what neighborhoods to avoid versus what neighborhoods are really attractive. Where are the better schools? Where are the things that they may be interested in? I think
yeah,
yeah, that probably goes a long way, right?
it certainly does. And sometimes like we'll suggest, hey, grab an Airbnb for a weekend and hang out in the area that you think you'll like.
Mm,
Just to kind of get a feel for it too. Or, you'll start showing them some things that yeah, maybe they didn't quite think that was what they wanted, but after like dealing with them a little bit, you kind of get a feeling to be like, I think we're gonna just let's just take a look at this and see what you
mm,
like, see what you say. Because sometimes they don't think that's going to be a fit, but then end up falling in love with that. And again, I've had that experience recently with a condo that I was selling a couple, and they're like, that's kind of too far away and not where exactly we wanted. But when they saw it, they loved it. And then when we drove the area for them to see where everything was, they're like, oh, actually, this really fits, and they
mm,
ended up buying it. So it's just, making sure that sometimes, you listen to what they say, but then you're kind of more like observing what they do and what they're talking about and kind of fit what they're looking for that way as well too. Because often, they'll only have a narrow mind about certain things, and you're like, no, this will work for you too, and kind of being able to drag them over just to
mm.
kind of like check this out, right? See let me know what you think of this.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. I think people, we have our preconceived notions of what we think we want,
Yep.
but then when we see something that's better, we're willing to change our mind,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's one of those things. People don't buy homes based on a checklist. Very rarely does it have to meet all the boxes, right? But sometimes we're willing to give up the bottom two things if one of the things they really love is like
Yeah,
really
it
there,
fits really
right?
well. Well, and it goes to the expression, buyers are liars, right? And not intentionally. It's
Yeah.
just that you have to not just listen to what they tell you. You gotta be able to see that and then start to actually see what they're looking at, see what they're saying, look at their body language when they're walking through the properties and watch what they say to each other. Because sometimes they say something's important, but they don't even look at it every single time they're in a property. I'm like, well, if it was that important, that'd be something
Mm,
you check out every single time. So I know I can maybe push the envelope into something that doesn't have that because, like you said, it's on the bottom of their list. But if they got their three top things, then
Mm.
yeah, okay, we're happy, we're ready to go.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, to round this off here, you had mentioned that you've gone through a few different careers here prior to becoming a real estate agent. What was life like before? I assume you weren't self-employed throughout your entire career, right? So, what was it like before? What made you make the switch over, and what was that transition like for you?
Um, yeah, so I've been doing high performance sales for over 25 years. Um, COVID was the impetus for what happened.
Mm,
The company that I was working for shut down. And so I actually started into mortgages first. And, I was working away trying to build my business in mortgages. And then my wife, who's also been doing sales and high performance sales across, lost her job as well. And we sat down and she had always really wanted to get into real estate. It was something
mm,
that she had dreamed about doing. And so she was like, okay, well, I'll get my real estate license and we'll work towards that. You can work on the mortgages, but it'd be really cool if you got your real estate license too, just so that you could cover the times that,
mm,
I might need to be with the kids or I just need some help once in a while. And I was like, okay, well, we'll work on that. But I was really focused on doing the mortgages. And so she got her license and was done. And then she ended up looking up the team that we're working with Cindy Cody. And literally, she yanked me into a meeting. She just cold called Cindy, and this goes to show how good she is in sales. Cold called Cindy, sold herself in, and then got on a meeting with her to get onto the team. And then in the middle of the meeting, I guess they'd been discussing me and dragged me into this meeting that I wanted nothing to do with because I was focused on my mortgages. So I come in, and next thing I know, I'm sitting in Cindy's office, signing a contract to be a realtor with her and on her team, and I didn't even have my license yet. So um, yeah, and my goodness, just Mimosa got busy really fast. I got my license, and then things just started moving really quickly. And then I realized, I was dragged over the dark side, but hey, I like it.
awesome.
And so yeah, that's how I ended up in real estate. And now it's like I was the top producer for 2024 on our team. This year, I'm on track to be top producer again.
Very nice.
My wife was top producer in 2023, so we're battling it out, and I hope I don't get the couch again for winning. But it was a very good dynamic, and it's something that we really took to. And like you said, being your own business person, to me it was a very big change
Mm,
because we'd been, yeah, sure, commissionable sales before because we're in sales, but it wasn't the same as like, oh yeah, it's 100% on me now.
mm,
And so it was a big shift in the mindset, but something that we really took to and loved, and found that, yeah, okay, with that, the potential is also endless. And so it's been fun to explore that potential and grow our
mm.
business.
And what's it like working with your spouse?
Well, I have no hair. No, I'm kidding. There, it's been great, honestly. I think that the only downside that I have is sometimes she wakes me up at 2 in the morning because she has a really good idea for a listing or something. So that's the only downside. Sometimes when we're doing deals together, so she's on one side, I'm on the other.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that makes it interesting. Yeah. So we one of us usually leaves the house, or we'll be in separate offices, making sure that we want to make sure we're separated. But at the same time, it's fun at she's like, oh yeah, well, you know, we wanted to, we would have gone an extra 5,000 here, 10,000 here. And I'm like, yeah, well, we would have given it up at this, right? So it's funny for the after fact, but, overall the business, it's great. It's great.
Mm.
I know sometimes people talk about butting heads, and yeah, we have our moments sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's been a blessing to be able to work together.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Awesome, John. To kind of wrap it up here, if there was one message that you could share with the listener, yeah, just based on sort of the experiences that you've gone through in your life, getting to this place in real estate, but even in the past, what would that one message be?
I found really that knowing your why is so important. It really drives what you do. And at the end of the day, it gives you fulfillment. And it also, when times get rough, because they always do,
Mm.
it's what you can really dig into. Because when you know what your why is, then you can lean into that and know that, okay, it's worth walking down this dark road because I know at the end of the tunnel, there's that light. And I know that's the reason I'm doing this. And
Mm.
whether that's in business, whether that's in life, we always face these challenges and it's so important to, self-reflect, and it can evolve over time because you might have a deep reason for doing something, at some point in your life. Then you have, get married, you have kids and other things evolve and change. And so your why can change too. So, it's really good to take some time for yourself and reflect on that and to kind of dig into what your why is.
Yeah, I will say that that is probably one of the hardest questions that I've tried to answer over the years. It's and it, like you said, it evolves. Right now, I have a child, and the focus has definitely shifted over, especially to the family side of things. But for the longest time, I couldn't answer that question. Like I always wanted to achieve more, do more stuff,
Yeah.
but it was
But
always
why?
hard to
Yeah.
pinpoint why.
Yeah. It's just, I guess sometimes you just sit there and be like, that's what I'm supposed to do, isn't it?
Mm,
Right. And then, but when things get tough and it's just like, yeah, what's everybody does. Now you're just thinking, well, everybody does it. I don't really want to do this. Or,
mm,
maybe I'll just shift the way that I'm going because I don't really understand why I'm doing this for this particular thing. But if you know and you have a clear goal and you know what your why is, then, like I said, when things get tough, you're just like, no, I'm doing this because this is the reason. I just could put one foot in front of the other and we're just going to keep on marching forward
mm.
because it's important. And this reason I have, this why that I have is going to drive me. At the end of every single day, I'm going to say, yep, I walked this path because of this.
Awesome, awesome. Well, John, appreciate everything that you had to share here today. And yeah, for anyone who's interested in contacting you, we'll make sure to put your contact details in the show notes. Yeah, awesome. Until next time, John.
Awesome. Appreciate the opportunity.